Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here with layout number 2 using my Hip Kit Club kit from January of 2016. It's their Project Life kit. And this is the second layout that I'm making. So these photos are actually from March of this year, which is fairly recent for me. I know I'm usually scrapbooking older things, but this is fairly recent for me. So these are some photos of a day that my mom, I guess it was a weekend that my mom came up to visit, and she brought my nephew with her. So it was her and I and Kaylin and my nephew Walter spent the day together at the museum on Saturday, I think is the day that we did that, while Ernest was at work. So it was just the four of us, and we had a good time at the museum. We love the museum. Kaylin and I go to the museum all the time. So we wanted to take my mom and my nephew and just enjoy the time there. So I'm kind of sorting through what I want to do. I have 3 4x6 photos and only one 4x6 pocket. Now I only have one 4x6 card left in the kit, but I don't want to use it necessarily on this layout because it says 2016. So I had this bag from the museum store where I had bought a couple postcards and then some little like I want to say gummy worms, but they're not gummy. They're like little stretchy worms that the kids could play with, or bugs or something. So I had gotten a little bag from the museum store, and so I decided to cover up that 2016 card and just use the white border around it, and then use the museum store bag as that card because it fit perfectly in the middle of that 4x6 card. So it's probably like 5.5 inches wide, the bag probably is, and then I just trimmed off the top. But it has North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, and then it says naturalsciences.org. So it really has the information about the museum on there, plus it has kind of a decorative swirly pattern on the rest of the bag. So it just really looks nice. It fits well with this layout. And I also have a very small photo there looking up at a dinosaur skeleton in their little, they have like a glassed in room that's a circle on part of the museum, and there's different dinosaur skeletons in there, and then they have like the pterodactyl skeletons kind of like rotating through at the top of the room. But it's a really pretty room because you can see through outside at the different parts of the city in Raleigh. So it's just a really kind of cool room. So I have that picture right there on that bag as well. Now, I had this one card that had the memories of 2015 or something, so I'm just covering that up. I love the little tiny journaling lines. I'm going to definitely take advantage of journaling here on this layout. But I needed to cover up that 2015. So I take the little gray label in the kit that says today, and then I put out my LA Studio dated stamp set. And I was really bad about showing you this on camera, so I just cut all that out because you can't see what I'm doing. I've stamped it down here on the left side of the screen, but you couldn't see the stamp set or anything like that. But basically I stamped out March 18 using that dated stamp set, and then I pulled out my Studio 29 Designs Walden print stamp set, and I used the T and the H to say March 18th because that was the day that we had went to the museum. So it says today, March 18th, and then I'm layering it with a little banner off one of the paper clips that came in the kit. I haven't used a single one of those clips in the kit, in the layouts that I've done with the kit, but I've used the little banners that I've cut off. So I may not have used the paper clips, but I'm making use of the embellishment itself. Just kind of adhering a couple things down. There's this one photo, and you can't really tell here what it is, but there is a photo there with the leaves on it, and what it is it's a picture of the frogs, like the poisonous frogs, the bright blue and the yellow and the green, and I want to say there's a red frog in there as well. You really have to look at the photo to be able to see them. We go to the museum so much, and the same thing with the zoo. We go to the zoo so much that every time we go, I try to get photos of different animals or different exhibits. That way when it's in my Project Life, you're always seeing something different. You're not always seeing the same dinosaur or the same elephant at the zoo. I always try to capture something a little bit different. That way, as you're looking in my album, you're seeing the different stories. There's this red chevron card that I had included, and it was going to be a filler card, but I had no idea what I was going to do. So this kit, what I have noticed, does not really have any die cuts. There's lots of labels, lots of like banner things that you can create, lots of alphas. It's got the it's got the wood veneer, it's got clips, but there's really not any die cuts. So for me, I usually use, when I'm creating a filler card, I usually use die cuts. So what I decided to do instead of that was to use the glassine bag that came in the kit as packaging for the wood veneer. And then I'm going to layer this gold label over it and just put a few of the alphas on there. So I'm going to use the gold alphas to spell out fun. And then I'm going to use the little circle alphas. I'm going to use the black circle alphas with the white text on it to say day out. So it's going to say fun day out. And then I'm going to glue that all down. Now, as I mentioned, I absolutely love the tiny journaling lines that you can see on my 2 outside 3x4 cards. So I am going to do some serious journaling here. It's not real serious, but I'm going to do a lot of journaling here. And all I'm talking about is how Grandma and Walter came up to spend the day with us, and how much we love love going to the museum. And then just a little bit about what our favorite parts of the museums are. You know, at the very top, you could see the replica of the shark jaws. That's one of our favorite things to look at in the museum. And so I have pictures of Kaylin standing behind it, and then I have a picture of Walter standing behind it, and it looks like they're in the shark's mouth. So I talk about that, and I talk about the dinosaurs, how we absolutely love the dinosaurs, and how we just love going to the museum because it's a place that you can learn and just kind of explore, especially if the weather's either really hot or really cold or really rainy. This is a 4-story museum in downtown Raleigh, and it's actually 2 buildings, I think. Yeah, I think it's 2 different buildings that are connected by the skywalks. So you really can spend a full day there and really explore. And there's also a theater on the inside as well, like a 3D theater as well. I cut out the Moments banner from one of the 3x4 cards, and then I used the alphas, again, the little circle alphas, to put shark. So it says Shark Moments at the top with the little heart from the puffy stickers, or the puffy alphas rather. And then I am going to do another little embellishment, like cluster, I guess, on the top left photo with Kaylin, to kind of mimic the one on the right with Walter. I'm just kind of adhering some journaling down here at the bottom. So I fussed with this journaling, and I cut out probably a good 15 minutes of it. But I had done it one way and I didn't like it, so then I just removed it and did it a different way with the redid the journaling itself. And it just says, the boys really love story time with Grandma. She tells awesome stories, which just drew the boys in. Totally focused. So this is after we got back from the museum. I'm making dinner. I'm standing in the kitchen, which is where I took this photo. So I'm making dinner, and the boys are sitting there. I think they're eating a snack as I was starting to make dinner, and they're sitting there staring at my mom, and she's telling them some sort of story. I don't remember what she was telling them about, but they're just like staring at her. Kaylin has his chin on his hand and is sitting there. I think his other hand, he's eating goldfish, I think. So he's sitting there eating goldfish with his hand on his chin, just like so focused on my mom's in the story that she was telling. So my mom's always been very good about telling stories, and all the grandsons. I think when we were kids too, she would tell us stories, but all the grandsons just totally focus on her, and it's really kind of cute. I used some tiny alphas from Basic Gray. It was our Highline alpha sheet. I think it had 5 or 6 different alphas on it that were in like a 2x12 strip on that 12x12 sheet. And what I had done when I got it was I just cut the strips out so I had the different colors on a separate sheet, so I can, you put it in different kits and not necessarily have to have the full 12x12 sheet. So I pulled out the yellow one, and then I am going to pull out an orangey red one as well and just use it for some little captions. So on this top one, I had cut the little pink banner off of one of the 3x4 cards, and I had put the words teeth in the yellow alpha. It's hard to see on here because it looks like it blends in, but in person you can really see that it says teeth. And I've just put great big. So it says great big teeth. And I'm going to put a little wood veneer star beside that. And then I am going to use a caption under the frog photo just to put frogs. And that's going to be using that orangish red alpha from that same Highline sheet from Basic Gray. I'm scattering a few little bits here and there. I like to have sets of 3 if at all possible, if it looks good to me. I don't necessarily have to have sets of 3 or odd numbers or anything like that, but usually it looks a little bit more balanced when there's an odd number for some reason to my eye. So typically I try to just make sure it looks balanced. So I have the little puffy heart. Well, I have I have 3 of those puffy hearts from the Alpha sticker sheet, and then I also have 3 of the wood veneer, and they kind of go opposite sides of the page. So there's a puffy heart on the top right photo, the bottom right photo, and the middle left photo, and then there is a wood veneer star on the top left, the bottom left, and the middle right. So they kind of go, it's kind of like a show. I was going to say a chevron, but it's not. It's just like an arrow on each side, if that makes any sense at all. I'm going through, and this is where I'm kind of trying to add a caption about these poisonous frogs. And I actually read that they're only poisonous when they're in the wild, and it's based on what they eat. Whereas in captivity, I guess their diet's a little bit different, so they don't eat the same things that they would normally eat in the wild. I think that's what it said on the little description thing beside the little thing where the frogs were. It was talking about that, but they're the beautiful bright colored frogs that, are like the poisonous frogs, but they're so pretty. They really are. They're little and they're so pretty. So I gave up the journaling on this, and I just decided to put frogs on one of the little banners, the little banner labels that came in the kit. Very creative, I know, but I got frustrated with it. I couldn't make it work. It was really frustrating me because I don't know if it was my handwriting or what, but it was just irritating me. So I just gave up on it, and I just decided to put frogs. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a bit of my journaling here in just a moment. But I'm kind of looking through the rest of the page to decide if there's anything else I want to add. Am I happy with how it looks? Does everything look balanced? Near the end of each of my layouts, you can tell I usually have most of my supplies laid out across my desk at this point. And so I kind of like push everything around and touch all the different supplies. And it's just my thought process. My brain's going through, okay, well, I have this left, and I have this left, and I have this left. Does anything look like it needs it? Does everything look good? Does it look balanced? But I guess in order for my brain to process that, I kind of have to touch everything. As you can see, I'm always constantly straightening the cards and touching things and trying to decide if it all looks good. See, there's just something pretty about the tiny journaling lines with all the journaling. It makes it look all nice and concise and just pretty whenever it's on these little tiny lines. For some reason, I think as I write bigger, my handwriting is sloppier. And there was no way I was going to do printed journaling on here because now that I have these tiny journaling lines, I have to take advantage of them. I can't do printed journaling because it just won't look right. I need to take advantage of the little tiny lines and just do my use my own handwriting, which is kind of nice to incorporate as well. I'm definitely not opposed to printed journaling. I love printed journaling. I think it's a very pretty look, but I also like my own handwriting as well. I'm not opposed to my handwriting. The bigger it gets, I think it looks sloppier, but I'm not opposed to my handwriting in general. Usually, the only thing that irritates me about doing hand journaling is if you make a mistake, then you have to get another card and start over or cut another piece or something like that, whereas printed journaling, unless you're using a typewriter, which doesn't really have a backspace. I mean, you have the correction tape, but it doesn't seem like it works the best sometimes. But if you're doing type journaling, you can, erase and continue and then erase and continue and erase. You could do as many times as you want. Whereas if you're handwriting it, it's like a one-shot deal. It's, if you don't have another card and you mess it up, then you're out of luck. You got to get a different card. And it can sometimes mess up your design. So I think we are nearing the end here. I was fixing my little journaling label down here at the very bottom right on that card because that was irritating me. I was frustrated with that because it was not working right. Sometimes things just don't work right the first time you try it. And I want to put something here and I want to put something here. And funny enough, that little heart is sitting there on my hand and I did not realize it because I'm like, something needs to go in this space. And I'm looking, I'm trying to see if there's another one on there. And then eventually I realized, it's stuck to my hand exactly where I had put it. I tend to put little stickers and stuff on my hand if I'm like holding a place for it or something, and then I forget where they are. But that is it. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this layout, and I'll be back soon with another video for you. All right, guys. Bye.